Okay, my name is David Fazio, and before I get into what I do professionally, I'm an individual that has a traumatic brain injury. I actually had a brain aneurysm that ruptured into hemorrhagic stroke at the age of 13, which gave me numerous types of disabilities, some of them learning and cognitive, visual perceptual, kind of like I'm sure what Chris has. So I've got a very intimate understanding of this arena. But professionally, I'm the founder and president of Helix Opportunity. We're an inclusive design strategy firm that teaches companies how to develop and provide meaningful experiences within their products, services, and environments that include everyone to share in the same way as much as possible, and not highlight the fact that people with disabilities actually have disabilities, and that's why they're using these products or services or whatever. And that begins with the $544 billion market of Americans with disabilities that less than 7% of U.S. companies have figured out how to tap into. So this is your chance to learn. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Fazio again. I'm the founder and president of Helix Opportunity. Before I begin my presentation, I want to talk a little bit about learning and cognitive disabilities really quick to reiterate what Kristen said. In working as a member of the board of directors for the Down Syndrome Connection of the Bay Area, we learned that children with developmental disabilities have much higher receptive skills than they do expressive skills. They do learn at an incredibly better rate than they can communicate, and that's a really big misconception. And a lot of applications today, it's a really exciting time because a lot of applications today that are used for individuals with learning and cognitive disabilities can be incorporated into many environments for everybody to learn just in a better way or more interactive way. And on another note, about something we learned unrelated to technology but totally related to learning and cognitive. There are actually, there's a drug right now being repurposed that used to be used to treat Alzheimer's that lost FDA approval because it actually had no empirical data to suggest that it did what it said it did, but it was completely safe. But this drug is being used by Stanford scientists right now, and I can put you in touch with them if anybody wants to. And it has been proven in lab mice that it does increase the cognition of individuals with learning disabilities. When you go to sleep and you take this pill, it connects your synapses so that your short-term memory transfers over into your long-term memory, and it helps you retain things. So it's really exciting. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about the new fitness revolution of brain training, which is basically Tybo for your melon. Great, I got a laugh. That's nice.
The brain is the most complex organ of the body, and our knowledge of it is increasing rapidly. As scientists are mapping the connections in the brain, we are learning more and more about the brain's abilities.
Oh, that was the end of that. So, Positive Science has developed brain training video games for healthy aging and to rehabilitate traumatic brain injury, cognitive problems related to cancer and chemotherapy, HIV, cognitive decline, cognitive impairment due to heart failure, visual disturbances and impairment, along with driving impairments.
Neuroplasticity. You're the guy who told us that our brains are plastic. What does that mean?
Well, neuro is for neuron, the nerve cells in the brain, and plastic means adaptable, modifiable, changeable. And neuroplasticity is that property of the brain that allows it to change its structure and its function in response to mental experience. So it's a great concept in the sense of...
Oops, cut him off. Let's do that again. Hold on.
Neuroplasticity. You're the guy who told us that our brains are plastic. What does that mean?
Well, neuro is for neuron, the nerve cells in the brain, and plastic means adaptable, modifiable, changeable. And neuroplasticity is that property of the brain that allows it to change its structure and its function in response to mental experience. So it's a great concept in the sense of reminding us that neuroscience really has to be addressing both mind and brain. Our brain maps actually change with mental experience.
And what I forgot to mention before I played that video is that this is all made possible by your brain's neuroplasticity, which is a really exciting, brand new field of study and being pioneered from a scientist, Dr. Michael Merzenich, out of San Francisco's UCSF Medical Center. So they've created something called Brain HQ that serves a variety of learning and cognitive fitness and rehabilitation functions. It contains 6 circuits for brain training: memory, attention, brain speed, people skills, intelligence, and navigation. Each category includes 4 different exercises. Some of them rely on visual activities while others are audio. For the purposes of this presentation, since we're a very visual audience and visual aids, I only included the games that have visual, activities to play in so that I could show them on the screen. And the first one is called, Scene Crasher. Scene Crasher improves your memory by exercising your ability to hold the details of a scene in your working memory. Scientifically speaking, it's called a delayed cognition span exercise. And a lot of these exercises actually show up in something called a neuropsychological evaluation, which is something that tests your executive functioning and things like that. And that's how the scientists track whether or not you're improving mentally and things like that after playing these video games. Now for this game, several items flash on the screen, and after they disappear, they reappear with one item missing. You're tasked with remembering the first scene well enough to spot the change when it reappears. A fuzzy screen flashes in between them to erase your visual impression of the first one. And as you level up, the items get harder to see in the background, the scenes flash for shorter times, and the items are rearranged further from the center of the screen. The items to track also change. Everyday life requires constant scanning of the world around us. Remembering what's where as you glance away is an incredibly important skill, because it enables you to continue to scan and spot important changes when you glance back. When you look away from your child running around a playground to talk to another parent, you glance back and the child is gone. Well, making observations quickly allows you to search and locate that child just as quickly. Now, that skill is seriously impaired in people with cognitive problems, and this exercise can help with that. Okay, the second exercise is Double Vision Road Tour, and it improves your attention by exercising your useful field of view, which is something that I have difficulty with, so that it gradually expands outwards. It encourages your brain to extract information from your useful field of view more quickly by focusing your attention on a task in the middle of the screen and challenging you to choose which car you saw as it briefly appears. While at the same time, you have to notice where a Route 66 sign appears in the periphery of the screen. Now, in this exercise, as your skills improve, more wrong answers appear. The road sign moves further out. The central cars get more similar. The backgrounds get more complicated, making it harder to spot the subtle differences. And the activity speeds up as you perform better. This exercise improves your brain speed and reliability of useful field of view. It is the area over which you can quickly and accurately see details when looking straight ahead. A smaller useful field of view takes your brain longer to notice what's in the periphery. A larger one means you can see more and you can see it more quickly. Now, your useful field of view might make the difference between you hitting a skateboarder suddenly crossing the street while you're driving on, or stopping before you do. The average adult's useful field of view does shrink with age, and clinical problems can have the same effect. Expanding your useful field of view brings significant benefits to everyday life. And this exercise speeds up visual processing, improves driving safety, and makes it easier for us to keep up with the busy demands of everyday life and help us retain independence. Now, Hawkeye improves your brain speed and ability to notice subtle visual details quickly, which equates to something called visual precision. That helps your brain perceive what you see quickly and accurately so you can recall it better later. Visual precision enables you to remember details about what you saw in a movie, at a wedding, when house hunting, or even while car shopping or performing quality assurance work, and everything else you do. Remembering these details accurately allows you to recall and discuss them better and make more informed decision-making later on. This exercise improves your visual precision by asking you to locate specific birds in your peripheral vision that appear for a very short amount of time. They start out fairly distinct and appear close together on a simple background. And on this exercise, when you level up, the bird pairs become more similar, challenging your brain to make finer distinctions. The birds spread farther apart, pushing your brain to see details further out from your center of visual attention. And the background becomes more complex, encouraging your brain to spot subtle details even when the background interferes. Bird pairs, locations, and backgrounds change based on your level. The time the birds appear on the screen changes based on your performance. As you improve, the birds flash on the screen for less time. Now, the face-to-face exercise improves your people skills by exercising the social cognition network in your brain. This improves your brain processing of social input so that you can correctly interpret facial expressions. For those awkward times when you crack a joke, look around and wonder, was it funny, insensitive, or confusing? Your ability to read facial expressions, yeah, I like that one. Your ability to read facial expressions is important. It usually determines how you react. That often makes a difference between a socially satisfying moment and a socially awkward moment. These moments add up to define the overall social savvy, comfort, and self-confidence around others. This program briefly flashes a face on the screen. You choose which expression you think it shows. Then a set of faces appear for you to select the one showing the same expression on the first face. The exercise gets harder by adding more emotions, decreasing the intensity of expressions, and increasing the number of faces you choose from.
One of the things they've done with the serious brain exercises is they've packaged them to look like games to keep people interested. And that's because when you're interested in an activity, you secrete some brain chemicals, dopamine is one of them, that actually help consolidate connections. But I also saw evidence of IQ and things being raised when I was working with doing The Brain That Changes Itself and working with many different clinicians working with kids who had learning disorders. And as they were being addressed with brain exercises, they increased. And you could say, well, how do you know they increased? We know because we did IQ tests before, during, and after. So it really was IQ that was being changed.
Okay, and finally I'm going to wrap this up by saying Brain HQ provided by Posit Science is a good example of what I call harmony at work. These brain training games exercise your mind for mental fitness and rehabilitation on your mobile device whenever you want, wherever you feel like, and wherever you are, without anyone ever recognizing the fact that you're doing it because of an impairment or medical necessity. It's just entertainment. The field of neuroplasticity has the potential to create an entirely new genre of gaming for mobile developers to embrace. But let's face it, these games are incredibly lame. I don't want to play them. So what I'm saying is the science behind them leaves an abundance of raw material for any of you who are mobile developers to design truly unique, creative, and entertaining experiences that do exercise and rehabilitate the brain. Now, nobody wants to call attention to their disability. My therapist, provided me rehabilitation therapy in high school after my brain aneurysm ruptured, and that was mortifying for me to deal with as a young teen. To do these things in the hallway and in empty classrooms. Well, there's a more than $544 billion market of people with disabilities that exists, when you focus on including them in things like, gaming, whatever, just entertaining experiences. You can learn about how to do it when my ebook comes out on Harmony at Work next month. And if anybody's interested, I'll send you a link, but it's what it talks about. So that's the end of my presentation.